Good evening, race fans. Pirate here from Black Flag Racing TV, and what an absolute massive event we've got for you this evening. It's the final round of the GTC World Cup. This is Division 2, and it is still all to race for in this final race here at Suzuka. We're here this evening brought to you by Metropolis, of course, as we always are, along with detailing group Pride of the Dragon, RWB Racing, and of course our friends over at High Pre Sim Race City, to give them their full and complete name. But this is all about one thing and one thing only. This is a battle for the championship here in Division 2. And I tell you now, there are two drivers fighting it out for the championship, just separated by a couple of points. And any one of three drivers could still take third. We're in the Nissan GTR, which is a fantastic GT3 car, one of my favourite GT3 cars, and we're here at Suzuka Circuit, which is one of the greatest iconic racetracks of our time. If you realise that, we don't want to see what's going on in the race yet because we're not racing just yet. First thing I want to do, let's have a look at the current grid for this evening. I know it says we've got 9, we've actually got 10 racing this evening, but the truth is leading us out on pole with Newton joining him on that front row. Nuke will be with Toto Wolff, not the real one, on row 2. Rusty Maggots with Colin on row 3. Kawazuri with Magic Cook on row 4. Joey Cannoli is on row 5, and he'll be joined, I think, by Nico. We've got the 3-minute warning. That gives us a bit of time to do this first. Let's talk about the Gentleman's GP. Get involved this week, June the 6th, hosted by J-Rod from RWB. It's all about the F50, the NSX, the XJ220, the Diablo, and the Carrera RS. 2 20-minute sprints, etc., etc., etc. Check it out. It's at Tokyo Expressway East this week. Moving swiftly on. Where are we? That's how we finished last time out at Grand Valley. Rusty Maggots taking the win, 18 points for him. Newt came in second, Newton in third, The Truth in fourth. He got 12 points. Colin in fifth with the fastest lap, and Toto Wolff, not the real one, finished in sixth, which leads us to that podium license. The Truth, Rusty Maggots, and Colin in that order, strangely. Anyway. This is the most important thing that we need to look at. Where is it gone? The current standings is what we want to look at, isn't it? Let's get those standings up because we want to see exactly where we are going into this final race. There we go. So that's how it stands going into this final race. The Truth. Just 2 points clear of Rusty Maggots, both from FR Bono Racing, friends, teammates, but right today it's man versus man. They are going at it for the championship. The Truth, just 2 points clear of Rusty Maggots. Third place, there's Colin sitting for RSR, 89 points. He's got Toto Wolff, not the real one, independent driver, just 2 points behind him. And he's going to be absolutely hammering it for that third place. Kawazuri just outside there with 83 points from High Pre Sim Race City. He will also be trying to do what he can to get himself into that top 3. That's where the battle is going to be today. It's going to be the Truth and Rusty Maggots, and then Colin, Toto Wolff, not the real one, and Kawazuri, all battling out there for the big points. But without further ado, we are about to get started here at Suzuka, and I tell you what, it's going to be an absolute doozy. I am really looking forward to this. It's going to be I think it's 60 laps. I think it's going to be something like that. 2 hours of racing. Races off racing mediums are required. Pit window is 10 minutes from the halfway point until 10 minutes after the halfway point. That's the only time they can pit for fuel and for tyres. Outside that, you're only pitting to repair your broken car. But you don't want to do that because it will cost you oodles of time. Very tricky, very technical racetrack. Requires to have your wits about you the whole time. I think we're going to see the majority of people starting on the medium compound tyres. I think that seems to be the way forward. Certainly seems to be the best strategy throughout this season so far. But without further ado, let's get cracking with some glorious racing, shall we? Let's get the information. So there we go, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5 lights, and we will be away. And off we go, the Truth leading the way. He's already up front, and that's where he'll want to be for the duration of this race. It's a bit of a drag down to turn 1. Turn 1's a very tricky turn. You're going quick and come out slow, which is unusual for most turns, but it's just the way that turn's designed. But the Truth out cleanly, Lee Newton in second. There is Luke in third. The one using Toto Wolff, not the real one, he's in fourth. He's got Rusty Maggots right up behind him. And I think now Rusty Maggots will be doing everything in his power to get ahead. He wants to be getting close to the Truth. He does not want to see that car 4 or 5 places up the road. He wants to get involved early doors and make sure he's really close to him, because he's got a championship to win. Kawazuri back in 6th. He's got Colin half a second behind him in 7th. Magic Hook in 8th. Nico is in 9th. And Joe Cannoli brings up the rear in 10th at the moment. Having a look through the order, I can tell you that everybody is on exactly the same strategy. That's all you need to know. So it's all about what the Truth can do from the lead. His primary aim, he knows that his rival for the championship is back in 5th. He knows that if he can build a big enough gap, give himself a nice little cushion, it's in his hands. And that's how it stands right now. It's in his hands. And he wants to do something. This. But there we go. So the Truth is leading the way. He's already 1.2 seconds clear, and we'll go on board with him as we start lap 2 extra kills. We love to see it. Blasted. So here we go. So come round the final turn, and it takes you down to the start finish line. Blast down past the start finish line into the first turn, which is essentially turn 1 and 2. In here, changing down in the corner, down into second to get that final rotation before you go into S, which takes you to and centre. Very tricky part of the racetrack. It's all about feathering the throttle through there, knowing when to let off, when to power. You don't need brakes, really, just to get a little bit of throttle control. Then here we go up the hill and out of turn 7, takes you into the Dunlop curve. Sweeping around to the left-hand side as you get on that power, starting to climb up the hill toward Dento, which is turn 8. This one here, dropping it down to 4th gear, dropping down here, 3rd gear, into this right-hander at turn 9, heading up the hill under that bridge. One of the only figure-of-8 racing tracks in the world, actually. Certainly in this country. Into turn 10, and then you've got a head in for turn 11. Very tricky corner. Exit speed, paramount. Heading down, you swoop round turn 12 to the right. I can't really tell. But up the hill you climb, you're still climbing, sweeping around that right hand side before you get into Spoon, which is 13 and 14. So always a double 8 minutes. left-hander, 13 and 14. And now it's power, full beans. Get your foot down and head down this long straight, which takes you to the sweep round to the left-hand side. There's a slipstream here, you can really see a good overtake. Head down into 130R, turn 15, and then excuse me, stick it to that left-hand side into the Casio triangle, they call it, which is a really tricky final section of corners before you head down to these half-inch line to do it all over again. And to truth, crossing the line, he's 1.1 seconds clear of Newton as it stands. Good evening to everyone in chat. Good evening, Andrew Scott. Good evening to 420. The Rusty Fan Club is out in force today. And Mad Dad Hatto as well. So, Newton, 1.2 seconds back for RWB Racing. Just hanging off the back of the truth, he's kind of sticking with him at the moment. I expect to see, once we drop off some fuel, we get to the business end of the race, see the lap times dropping under that 2 minute mark, although Detroit currently with that fastest lap. I guarantee you, him and Rusty will practice it. Nuke is in third from sector 7. He's 1.7 seconds behind Newton. He's got Toto Wolff, not the real one, for the company, Japanese independent driver. I'm pretty sure after his performances here in GTC, I wouldn't be surprised if they snapped up one or two of the teams involved here and to get him on the watch now. So you wouldn't want to see him in black flag colours. And he is right in behind Newton, really putting some pressure. And this is a really good opportunity. This is where you can use that slipstream to make that overtake. And tucked in behind there, can he get this move done? He's certainly close enough to have a go. They head down to 130R. If you don't get the move done by 130R, you're not getting it done on this lap. And you head down to complete lap number 4. Rusty Maggot's still back there in 5th. He needs to get ahead of those cars in front. What he actually needs Toto Wolff and Luke to be battling this out to keep him in contention. And Kawazuri sweeps past Rusty Maggots there. We're talking about Rusty Maggots needs to gain a position. And while we're doing that, watch Kawazuri here. So as they come through, I don't know why it's not showing me. Kawazuri through that final turn, she gets such a better exit. Sweeps through and takes 5th position from him. So now, Rusty Maggot's got even more work to do because he's way back now, also way back, he's back in 6th place behind Kawazuri. This is a big blow to his championship hopes at the moment. Of course, we know that nobody else but the Truth and Rusty can finish 1st and 2nd, but he won't want to finish 2nd. He's been very dominant over him. To be fair, I think him and the Truth all season have been the two to watch. Early doors, we saw some great racing from the drive start checking. Black Flag's own Monkey Nacho, who had an equipment failure after the marathon, 4 equipment failure, and he just couldn't stay in the competition. He's not been able to race him. They actually he was but the ever-present, ever-challenging forward front, the Truth and Rusty Maggot. Kawazuri shows some great pace, but just not been able to match that kind of pace of those two. Kawazuri, of course, from Hybrid City. There is Rusty. He's now got Colin giving him a little bit of grief behind. Colin, fastest man on the racetrack last week in there, Alpha 155 at Grand Valley. He's trying to put a little bit of wheel on Rusty Maggot. Now remember that there is still a 3rd place up for grabs. But at the moment, Colin is currently sitting in 3rd. He's got Toto Wolff 2 points behind him, and Kawazuri just 6 points behind him. So he'll want to get ahead of both of those drivers and stay ahead. At the moment, Toto Wolff in third. I think he's doing just. I'm trying to do the sums in my head. I don't think it's enough at the moment for Toto Wolff to steal third. In fact, I think that'd be 11 points. I don't know how it works if you do a count back or not. But that's but at the moment, Colin really just he'll certainly want to get ahead of Kawazuri and Toto Wolff at some stage to secure that third place. Back in the pack, Magic Cook. It looks like he's had a little bit of some reason because he is 14 seconds back. Nico, 11 seconds back from Joey Canoli. I was actually supposed to go out last week, which is why I was broadcasting, and then I got really sick and couldn't go out, which is an absolute disappointment. Joey Canoli is 7.7 seconds behind Colin, but out front, no change. The Truth still leads the way. Newton has reined him in a little bit. He closed that gap down to 8 tenths of a second. The Truth won't want to have some of that close behind him. He'll want to have the easiest ride possible. He'll want to be able to look after his tyres as much as possible, conserve fuel as much as possible, just to make sure that he's got something left in the tank for the tail end of the race. But at the moment he's holding his own, he's sticking out there. He's keeping Newton at bay at the moment as he puts in the fastest lap of the race. What am I talking about? He's going super quick. There is the mighty Newton of Nola Racing. He is 9 tenths back. They've already pulled out a nice juicy gap actually over Toto Wolff, who's kind of leading the rest of the pack around. 3.7 seconds, we're only 6 laps in. 3.7 seconds back to Toto Wolff, not the real one. He is 1 second clear of Kawazuri. And this essentially is a battle for third between these guys. Kawazuri desperately want to get that high racing race city car ahead of the independent Japanese driver if he can. 1.8 seconds is the gap back to Rusty Maggots. He has got himself back up into 5th. Who's had a problem? Colin down in 7th. Looks like he's had a problem. Well, Luke actually, I think Luke has lost some places. He's dropped down. He's down into 6th. Which has allowed Kawazuri and Rusty Maggots just to get forward. There's a little move going on there. Little side-by-side action. Luke and Colin having a little go. Colin almost finding a way through, but couldn't get that job done, and he tucks in behind again. And we'll have a look at it if he can find a way through. This is the view on board from Luke. And you look behind, see behind there, that is Colin chasing him down desperately, trying to protect third in the championship here at Suzuka. Not quite close enough. The thing is, the slipstream's good here, down this long straight to 131. The only problem is you've got to be nice and close. When you come out of that double apex left-hander, you've got to be nice and close, because if you're not within 3 tenths, the slipstream's not going to give you that impetus to get through before you hit 130. And once you get to 130, you can't go side by side. Look, I've seen it happen on very rare occasions, but it's not the sort of place that you're looking to go side by side with one or both of you. And a little dive, that's a really smart dive. So a little dive, that's a really smart move there from Colin. But he doesn't make it stick. And Nuke just holds on. This is some great racing between these two drivers. It looked to me that he was going to get that job done, but in the end he didn't. And this just helped Kawazuri and Rusty Maggots up in 4th and 5th. Because while these two are battling, they're not closing that gap, which is now 2.5 seconds. But Colin's still throwing everything but the kitchen sink at the back of that GTR, driven by Nuke. He's absolutely all up over him. And Nuke will not want to have to be defending this hard, this early on. But Colin's intentions are clear. He knows what he needs to do. He knows that he needs to rein Toto Wolff from real one and Kawazuri in if he wants to stand a chance. And he makes that move, and this time he makes it stick. But how long can he make it stick for? Is this going to stay, or is Nuke going to come back at him? It looks like Nuke is determined not to let him go. We'll have a quick look at that if we can. Yes, I want to see if Nuke will come back at him. So, yeah, left it a little too long. But it's a potential retake of that position. So Colin has got the move done. Can he start now to pull away from Nuke? He certainly looks to be a little quicker behind him as they head down to 130R for the 7th time. And it'll be many more forays into that or into this really tricky chicane. So he has got it done, and he has opened up the gap just a little. 3.4 seconds up the road, that's what that's done. So that gap is open, the gap right up. There is Rusty Maggots. He's now 2 seconds behind Kawazuri. Now, his pace is looking pretty good actually. It's very, very similar pace to the race leader, GTC-2, who's currently proving that you can't handle the truth by leading the championship. And it was bound to come out. I was going to try and save it for him on the championship. Sorry, I get very animated and sometimes move a little bit too far away from my mic and to move that might be better than that. How's that? Better? Anyway, moving swiftly on. I don't know what's going on. My levels, every time, my levels just seem to reset themselves. So, anyway, out front, there we have the truth. 1.3 seconds clear of Newton. Just again, opening that gap back up, which is exactly what he wants to do. He needs to make sure that he's comfortable. He's not being pushed too hard. Look, we know he's quick, and he's just lost actually the fastest lap of the race to Kawazuri, who's turned that pressure on. Kawazuri clearly wants to have a shot at third. But the last thing he wants to do is have to really defend hard and put extra pressure on that tyres and fuel. He's in a really, really good position. He's out in the lead, and he knows if he stays there, the championship is his. In fact, well, at the moment, he knows if Rusty Maggot stays in 5th, the championship is his. So his only aim at the moment is to put in some quick laps, keep the car on the racetrack and look after the tyres, look after the fuel, and just make sure he gets the job done, and done successfully. Newton, very, very good, very quick, very wily driver is Newton, and not to be counted out at any stage of any race. Always capable of turning on some lap times and demonstrating just how quick he can be. He's currently running in 2nd place, and these two have actually pulled out a bit of a gap from everybody else. They've demonstrated their pace out ahead of everybody else, and he is currently running in 2nd, 3.1 seconds clear of Toto Wolff, not the real one. 1.5 seconds he is clear of Kawazuri. That is a straight up battle for 3rd in the championship. So at the moment, Newton and the Truth racing, but they're not racing for each other really. They're racing each other on the day, but they're not racing each other for a championship. Toto Wolff, not the real one, and Kawazuri absolutely are. These two are racing for 3rd. Colin back in 6th at the moment, has the upper hand. He's currently sitting in that 3rd position. But if anything goes wrong for Colin and these two are in and amongst it, it could be one of these stepping up onto the 3rd step of the podium for the championship. The currently running 2nd in the championship is Rusty Maggots. There he is, 2.7 seconds behind Kawazuri at the moment. Got some work to do. He needs to get closer to the Truth. At the moment, he's 8.3 seconds behind him. Well, actually, quite a lot less now, 7.8 seconds. So, has the Truth had a problem? I hope not. But he is, it's a 2-hour race. There's still plenty of racing to be done. Still plenty of opportunity. So hopefully we'll see. I would love nothing more. I get quite animated, Andrew. I move back and forth. I use a desk mic, mate. I don't like the mics. I need to stay still. I get quite excited. Excuse me. So yeah, I would love to see Rusty Maggotts make his way through the field. Not that I wish ill of Newton, Toto Wolff or Kawazuri, but what a battle it would be to see The Truth and Rusty Maggotts racing it out to the line for the championship come the second half of this race. Look, anything can happen between now and lap 60 odd, wherever it's going to be. Plenty of racing still to go, and it could be actually that he's looking to just take it easy in this early stage of the race and bring out the big guns later. Colin running in 6th, currently 3rd in the championship. We want to gain a couple of places. We want to close up on Kawazuri and Toto Wolff, really just to kind of secure that position. Nuke running in 7th. He started out really well early on. Then had that battle with Colin for a couple of laps. Couldn't hold him off. Now 1.5 seconds behind him. 13 seconds back to Joey Cannoli. Forget about it. 7.9 seconds ahead of Nico from Australia, and he is 28 seconds ahead of the Magic Hook. There's your leader, 1.2 seconds. Him and Newton at the moment just dominating, staying ahead of this battle for 3rd in the championship between Toto Wolff and Kawazuri. Very much closer to The Truth this time. The Truth didn't have the quickest of laps that time, although I don't know quite. Looking at the lap times there, it looks like lap 9 wasn't great for The Truth in comparison to his other laps, of course. But Newton didn't have a super quick lap, but the gap's come right down to 0.8 of a second. Now, The Truth won't want to have Newton that close to him, because it's the last thing you want when you're in the lead and when you're essentially trying to protect a championship. The last thing you want to do is being pushed hard by someone other than your championship rival. No, I've got no question in my mind that The Truth would be battling hard whoever he's racing. But you want to be saving your hard push, your hard defend, your tyres, your fuel. You want to be saving that for the guy that you are racing the championship for, or racing with for the championship. Makes more sense. That's the person that you want to really be worrying about. He does not want to be giving up any grip, any of that beautiful rubber, any of that fuel. Racing Newton, they're not battling for a championship here. Now, there's a school of thought, look, without question, The Truth will want to win this race. Everyone here will. But do you... Let's play devil's advocate here. That if Newton does get right up behind The Truth, and it gets to the stage where The Truth is going to start harming his strategy, start taking too much out of his tyres, too much out of his fuel to defend, do you let the car go, knowing that your race today is for a championship and that the person you are racing really is back in 5th place? For me, that's probably the tactic I would employ. But then I don't win many races, so who knows? I think sometimes it might be worth doing, but I can tell you now, The Truth won't care about that. He'll want to win this race alongside winning this championship. 2.5 back to Toto Wolff, not the real one. Kawazuri is right there with him. He is not letting him get away. He absolutely wants a little piece of that Toto Wolff, not the real one, right in front of him. And there he is in that Sim Race City. He looks like he's going to use his same scratches. He has. a GS at the top. Looks very much like who knows? Who knows? So here we go, around the hairpin they go. Kawasuri really close. Good exit out of here as we just see the back end of that GTR for Toto Wolff. One just getting a little bit squirrely. But Kawasuri with a really good run now. They head up now towards this double apex. Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, up towards this double apex. And this is where exit is absolute paramount. If he gets a good run out of here, down towards 130R, is he close enough? I don't think he's going to be close enough. You can see that he is reining him in, but I don't think he's going to be able to make the move before they go into 130. So he's going to have to stick him behind and maybe hope for a mistake, or make a little move into Casino, the Casino Triangle. I don't know why I call it Casino, it's Casino. Or is it Casino? I think it is Casino. He doesn't get a good run out of there at all, and that just allows Toto Wolff just to open up the gap a little bit, heading down towards turn 1. Excuse me. Right. As looking out front. Just to say, the truth, still 1.3 seconds clear of Newton in second. 2.4 to this battle with Toto Wolff, number 1, and Kawasuri. 4.4 seconds back to Rusty Maggots, who is still vying for a champion, and still going to keep battling. As it stands, the truth will be your champion. Rusty Maggots will be second. And it's really, really close between Toto Wolff, Kawasuri, and Colin for third place. Talking to Colin. There he is, he's 3 seconds behind Rusty Maggots. Pulled out a nice 4.9 second gap now over Nuke. Good little battle between those two for a couple of laps, but Nuke could not contain the pace of Colin, who's been, I think, you correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure somebody will, but I think Colin has had quite a large proportion of the fastest laps this season. So his 1 lap pace has been phenomenal. I wonder if could someone check it for me maybe and have a look back and see. But I have a feeling that he's had more fastest laps than anybody else. I seem to always see FL next to his name. I could be really wrong, but 15 seconds behind Nuke. There's Nuke there. 15 seconds behind him is RWB's very own Joey Canoli, who is 2 seconds clear of Nico, 31 seconds clear of Magical Hook. And what happens to Magical Hook? We can find out here. Around he goes, and around he continues to go, and that is a wall. And unfortunately, my friend, you can't park that there. And someone happens to have left us, shall we say. Let's I'm not allowed to accuse people of rage quitting, so I'm not going to. The truth is 1.3 seconds clear of Newton still. That gap, there was a time when Newton closed that within 7-8 tenths, but the truth clearly wasn't going to allow that to stand on his own. He's essentially managing that gap. He doesn't want to push too hard, he doesn't want to ruin his tyres and fuel, but he's managing it. 2.2 to Toto Wolff, of course, and he's managed to just break away from the pressure from the Hyper driver Kawasuri. 5 seconds is the gap back to championship hopeful Rusty Maggots, who's 2.4 seconds clear of Colin. He started 5th, he's still in 5th. Colin running in 6.8 seconds now ahead of Nuke, 15 ahead of Joey Canoli. 1 second now, Nico's closing that gap, 1.2 seconds on Joey Canoli. Is that a potential overtake in the making coming? Because he's certainly looking like he's closing that gap. And what's interesting to see is Nico back in 9th. His fastest lap is a 2:08. Kawasuri fastest man on the race, 22:1. 7/10 separating. I'm trying to see if anyone's probably slower than that. I mean, it is all. Everybody's done. I think the slowest time is the slowest fast time, should I say. Yeah, there's 7/10 difference really between each person's slowest time. It's insane. Other than Joey can only struggling actually too far. And there is Nico closing that gap, about to make the move. He's right up behind there. Can he pull this out? Heading down to turn 1. It's a drag race. Joey Canoli with the inside line. Nico round the outside. Can he make the move here? It'll be very, very brave. Under braking, side by side they go. Nico tries to hold on. Almost going wide. Just tucks in. Going to have another go, maybe further up the racetrack. He's tucked well in behind as we head through the S's. Up the hill, you can start to see the climb. Here they go through the S again. A little bit of lag there from Joey Canoli. And I'm sure that's not going to affect things too much. And having a little look up the inside is Nico. Move not on there, but he's tucked in behind again. This is where they get on the power. He's sticking to that outside line. Joey Canoli defending for dear life. Into the braking zone here again. Joey Canoli holding off the charge of Nico. How long can he keep Nico at bay? Braking very early there, Joey Canoli, but getting turned into the hairpin as they head down a swoop round now. This right-hander that kind of brings you round up towards Spoon Curve, Spoon Corner. And it's not named after Spoon. And that's the move up the inside through Spoon, and Nico gets that job done and makes it a relatively easy. Very, very good, very solid move there from Nico. Watch that again if you like. In fact, you're going to because I'm going to do it. There we go. Round he goes into 8th position for Nico. We started with 10, we are down to 9 drivers. We saw a disconnection after a crash last lap. But the truth is 1.5 seconds clear of Knudsen. Opened up the gap by a couple of tenths, and that will be pleasing him. The gap actually, so they were quite some way. They were 2 to 3 seconds ahead of the guys battling for third, both on the racetrack and in the championship. That gap is now down to 1.6 seconds. So the pace outside the top 3 is just as hot as the pace inside the top 3 at the moment. And Toto Wolff, not the real one, is running in third. Kawasuri just 1.2 seconds back in fourth place. Just, it seems that what we've done at the moment, it's what, when you've got a 2-hour race, and we're just coming up to the half-hour mark, when you've got a 2-hour race like this, we're past the half-hour mark, what you'll find is that this stage is when people just start to settle in a little bit and let the pace of the race dictate, rather than sort of push too hard. You know, there's plenty of racing to go, there's plenty of opportunity through the pit stops, and it's going to be about, and this is the key here, and it's been the key throughout this series, because you've only got the one singular pit window in the middle, you've really got to think about how you look after your tyre and fuel in both sessions, particularly in the first session. And I tell you what, because you've got every second you spend in the pits, you get X amount of fuel. But every second you spend in the pits that your opponents don't spend in the pits is a second on the racetrack you've got to try and make up. Now, you've got to try and find that balance between having, going quickly and looking after the fuel you've got. If you can conserve a lot of fuel in the first stint, you invariably don't have to put as much in when you go in for your stop, which can give you an opportunity to jump a place or two. And we've seen him many times across certainly Division 1, 2 and 3 that I've seen. So many times that a jump has been made through the pit stop window just through a clever looking after of tyres and fuel, or particularly fuel. Tyres not so much. The tyres last, how the tyres last. Now, the softs here, towards the end of the race, or towards the end of the stint, should I say, will be pretty ropey. So we're going to see these guys push when they've got the soft tyres on. I think it wouldn't be a secret to know that everyone's on mediums at the moment. You can tell by the pace, of course. When they all change out for the soft compound tyres, we'll see that the pace will obviously get quicker. But you've got to, it's again about that balance. It's balancing the pace you can get out of the tyre and the pace you can get out of the car without stripping those tyres too early. And we see it quite often in endurance races where, particularly on GT7, where you get the guys that disappear off the racetrack, a second and a half faster than everybody else, and smashing the lap times out. But actually, what happens is that they hurt their tyres, they hurt their fuel, and they end up having to spend more time. Or if you've got a pit window like here, they really have to fuel map it and short shift and cost themselves places later on when everybody catches. We're currently watching Kawazuri from Hybrid Sim Race City, who is the fastest man on the racetrack, and he's 1.7 seconds behind Toto Wolff, Real 1, vying for a spot in the top 3. Rusty Bag at 6.2 seconds behind Kawazuri. His hopes of winning this championship are 11 seconds up the road at the moment. And his pace is good, his pace is solid, but he's got some significant work to do to catch the truth as it stands. There are 3 cars between him and his championship rival, the Truth. Into the hairpin, there goes Colin. Nice little bit of air either side, 6.7 behind Rusty Maggots. Had a really bad lap last lap, 2:05.8, so that wasn't super great for him, but that's allowed Nuke to close that gap down to just 5 seconds. Nico 17 seconds back in 8th place, and we saw him make the move on Joey Cannoli, who is currently running in 9th place. Race leader, there he is, the race leader, and if it stays as it is, your new GTC Division 2 champion, the Truth. 1.3 clear of Knudsen, as he is properly called, of Nola Racing. 2.2, that gap to Toto Wolff just opened up a little bit again. It did look like that Toto Wolff and Kawazuri were going to close up on the front two, but it's just opened up enough to for those guys out front not to worry about having additional people involved in this front runner party right now. I've got to keep lubricating this. So, the Truth is still leading from Newton. Toto Wolff still 3rd. Kawazuri still 4th. Rusty Maggots still 5th, and really dropping off. The Truth at the moment is down to 12.4 seconds. He needs to close so much gap. I'm looking, okay, I'm going to look at the fuel and the tyres, and I can tell you this, that there's not much separating any of them in terms of wear and tyres, to be fair. I can tell there's a couple of drivers that have just been a little bit more conservative with the fuel, and I've already talked about this, and that will make a difference in the pit window. which is due to open in about 12 minutes time. So about 6 laps, we will see the pit window open. I don't imagine we're going to see many people jumping in far too early. I think we're going to see a lot of them jumping in the second half of the pit window once we've passed the 1 hour mark here at GTC. If you are just joining us, this is the GT Champions World Cup Season 5, Round 10, final round. This is Division 2. We are in the Nissan GTR GT3 car at Suzuka for this final race. And the GTC World Cup, which I'm Metropolis and High Police and Race Stimulus making this happen. Yeah, I want to take this opportunity actually while it's relatively quiet on the racetrack, just to put a big shout out to particularly Venom and President Dog who put this together and make this happen. Most of you will know I had a bit of a rant on the Discord, and I think it was thoroughly justified. That a lot of work goes in behind the scenes. I'm not even including myself in this because I don't want to shout at 2 hours and character assassinate people. I don't put the kind of work in the RWB and the GTC guys do to make this happen. And there has been an element. All the drivers out here today, all of you guys that have stuck it through to the end, have been absolutely brilliant. But there's been an element of people that have got involved with GTC, and then just basically because they weren't winning or they couldn't win, just couldn't be bothered. And it's disrespectful in me. It's disrespectful to GTC. It's disrespectful to the drivers that are out here now because you're essentially saying, I don't want to play because you're better than me. I don't want to try and improve. And it's ruined. And there have been some races this season that have been ruined because they've had 2 or 3 people in. Now, I know that there's people in D1 celebrating winning today, but I'm pointing the finger at a lot of D1 drivers because D1 was the division that got the smallest, the quickest, and it's really disappointing that these events get put on. And anyone that organises racing events will tell you it's not a case of rocking up 5 minutes before and just chucking up a lobby. There's a lot of work goes on behind the scenes, and it's personal time as well. So, a bit of appreciation for GCC guys. I feel like I applaud you because the work you do is fantastic, and I hope we can find, I hope that there is a way to maybe alleviate the disloyalty or the taking for granted that we see in season 5. We didn't really. It's not something I really saw in season 4, to be fair. Although I came in, I think around 3 or 4, I came in to do some broadcasting in Division 4, but I didn't really see that kind of drop off so much in season 4 as we did in season 5. So I don't know what the answer is. Anyway, moving swiftly on. The Truth leading the way. The gap is still just outside that 1 second. Can't have the game volume down much more than it already is, to be fair. It's down quite low already. How's that? So, almost down to nothing. So the Truth is still being chased by Newton. We haven't seen a position change for some time now, actually. What we've seen, it's become a bit of a Monaco Grand Prix for the last few laps, which is essentially just some cars following each other around a racetrack. I think the last time we saw an overtake was when Colin made that move on Nuke. But as we start lap 22, the Truth crosses the line, 1.2 seconds clear of Newton, 1.8 ahead of Toto Wolff, and then 2.6 back to Kawazuri in 4th. Rusty Maggots is in 5th position. Colin in 6th is 10 seconds back. He needs to improve that position because at the moment his 3rd place in the championship is under a little bit of pressure from Toto Wolff, not the real one, and Kawazuri. Nuke is 3.2 seconds back in 7th place. 16.5 to Nico, 13.4 back to Joey Cannoli. And we lost Magic Cook after he disconnected, unfortunately. So, pit window opens in about 7 minutes. So somewhere around 4 laps time. So lap 25, 26 is when we'll see the pit window opening. But I don't think really we'll see anyone diving in too early into this pit window. I think we can expect to start seeing people coming in closer to sort of lap probably 32, 33. I think the other side of the 1 hour mark is when we'll start seeing the cars diving in and doing their due. Bit of a shame actually, we did have a couple of black flag drivers in Division 2. Shame we haven't got any racing this evening. Kaizan has been in the championship, couldn't make it this evening. Monkey Man Macho had an equipment failure somewhere around round 4, and although he did do a couple of races after that with his broken equipment, it went horribly wrong. So he's had to back. He's actually backed out of all racing at the moment. I haven't seen him race for a while. It's been a struggle, to say the least, for him. The Truth Serum leads the way, lap 23. Knudsen, where are you? There you are, from Nola Racing. That gap still to the guys battling for third, still over that 2-second mark. So at the moment, the pace is very similar. Once the gaps have got to where they are, the pace has been very similar across the board. Kawazuri, the fastest man on the racetrack, currently running in 4th, but they settle into a pace of low 201s at the moment. For the Truth, low 201s for Newton, 201s for Toto Wolff, not the real one. Kawazuri, low 201s. Rusty Maggots, low 201s. Colin, he's a bit sporadic. And I'll tell you, the thing that's costing Colin now, we know that over the course of this championship, we've seen Colin do a lot of fastest laps. And he has got some very good 1-lap pace. The one thing that I think has cost Colin a shot at the title is consistency, and you can see there from the difference between the top 5 and their consistency and Colin, who just who can't seem to dial in the regular mid to low 201s. Nuke behind, he seems to have found a little bit of consistency, and that gap now to Colin is 3.4 seconds. So can he up the pace a little bit? Now he has actually gone sub 201, Nuke. Can he maintain a quicker pace? Has he got something to show us in the second half of this race when they're on fresher, grippier, softer tyres? Nico, he's also capable of putting in the 201s, 201.8, 201.9s, the high 201s for Nico running in 8th. And Joey Cannoli is in the 202s and low 203s running in 9th. So as we start lap 24, the Truth demonstrating why he is top of the championship by leading this race. He started on pole, he's still in the lead of this race and doing an absolutely stellar job out front. What I did, Andrew, I didn't bump it. I've got a little button on the bottom which is like a kind of boost thing, which was on, but I turned it off and then I turned it back on again and it seems to have fixed whatever the problem was with it. Yeah, I was moving it around. But yes, I think it's sorted. Right, so the Truth leads 1.1 seconds from Newton, 2 seconds to Toto Wolff. Kawazuri is 2.3 seconds back in 4th place. He was at one stage right on the back of Toto Wolff, but hasn't managed to sustain that pressure. Whether he's kind of biding his time and he's looking to make moves later on, or whether the pace is just so hot. And as we said, everyone's very similar in terms of pace. So I think the big thing that's going to make a change here is going to be either a mistake or someone just that is currently holding back, letting loose, essentially. Because if they're going to give it full beans, then... and I imagine, I would imagine that the Truth, Knudsen, Toto Wolff, Kawazuri, Rusty, I reckon they've all probably got another half second in them if they really, really pushed. But at the moment, they're biding their time. They're playing the long game. They know that there's still over an hour of this race left. The pit window's not due to open again it has no opened at all yet. Not due to open for another minute and a half. So pretty much towards the end of this lap, the pit window will open as we start lap 25. This is the GTC World Cup Season 5 final round from Suzuka, and we are in, well, we're not, they are, in the Nissan GTR GT3 car. This is Division 2, and it's been, for me, the best division to watch. I think the action has been really, really close. I think anyone from the current top 6 and a couple of other drivers that are no longer in the competition, I think any one of them really, with a bit of consistency, could have challenged for this championship. As it happens, the Truth is the one that you can't handle, and he will be there. No, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, actually, because the softs will go off, and we'll see towards the end of the race. It's really about, and I think I've said this already, it's really about how well you hold onto the tyres early on to use them later. And particularly with this first in, I don't think we're going to see anyone diving into the pits anywhere near the beginning of the pit window, which is just about to open, actually. Prepare the pit button. And the countdown to the pit window as it is ready to open, and the pit window is now open. I love that. I love that. That's my favourite graphic ever. I think it's brilliant. Great job there from the master of ceremonies. It is Pixetta who does all of the brilliant graphics. Pixetta from Hyper, of course. And that's an interesting. I didn't expect to see people diving quite as early as they have. That is really interesting. And I'll tell you why, because the softs are going to struggle. But I would have expected people to have stayed out a little bit longer on those mediums, particularly with the pace as it was, and give themselves. I think, look, I'm often wrong, and I often find myself corrected, but from what I've seen, and to be fair, I haven't been about much this week. I've been really busy with work. From what I've seen of Division 2, the Division 2 broadcast and the Division 3 broadcast, is that the soft compound tyres really do struggle towards the end. For me, I don't see the sense in going in really early for the soft tyres and then having tyres at the end just struggling on, because surely you lose more time that way. Because yeah, you're going to be. Well, see, that's my point, Andrew. If you're kind to them, they hold on. Why not get more use out of the medium tyres? You've got your rhythm. You know, your pace is 2:01s. When the softs aren't 6 seconds a lap quicker, that it justifies doing that. And once your softs go off towards the end, you're going to be nursing them a little bit, and you're going to be sacrificing lap time anyway. So why not give it full beans on the mediums for a few more laps, stay out that little bit longer, and ensure that you've got some soft tyres you can lean on a little bit more in the second half of the race. And it looks to me that's what Knudsen, Kawazuri, Colin, they've all stayed out. Nuke has stayed out. Nico. But everyone from the Truth backwards straight onto those soft compound tyres. So interesting to see how much longer Newton stays out, and he has decided to do that. And I think this is a really, really smart strategy. I think if they're going to be able to lean on those soft compound tyres for longer. The longer they stay on the mediums now, they're not sacrificing huge amounts of time. We'll have a look in a minute what the time comparison differences are. Bear in mind that Kawazuri did a 2:01 on the medium. So Colin diving in for a fresh set of booty boots and to put some fuel on board. Won't need to put a lot of fuel on board, I can tell you that. They've been very, very, very good with it. Only just under half a tank used thus far by most drivers. So it's only going to be a bit of a splash. I don't think it does warrant it, because if you look at how the pace will drop off towards the end when the tyres aren't so great, you're going to be dropping down to similar times like this with dodgy tyres. I'm often, there's a reason why I commentate instead of race, but I think that it warrants doing it. And we finally get to see the Truth and Rusty on the same part of the racetrack. The art of preserving soft is well known to RWB Racing. It's the Jedi masters of soft tyre management. These are not the tyres you're looking for. Maybe. The medium tyres are still comfortably doing mid to low 201s, as they have been for several laps. I mean, Kawasuri's been chucking in steady 201.4s on those tyres. I get your point now. I get your point. So the Truth and Rusty are 1 second separated on this racetrack. I can tell you this. That's good. It's good that they can do it. There's a reason that I don't race, because I'm rubbish at it. Not rubbish on every track. There's a couple of tracks I'm very good at, but on most tracks I'm rubbish. Right, what I can tell you is that the Truth and Rusty are on. Well, we know they're on identical strategies, pretty much. They are now separated by 1.3 seconds. 1.5 seconds, in fact, and one has, I would say, significantly more fuel than the other, considering they've both got plenty to go towards the end. I'm not going to tell you, Andrew. One of them has less than the other. I mean, the fact that Rusty is now 1.7 from the Truth might suggest that is actually the case, but there we go. Anyway, Newton still leads the way. He's decided to stay out on those soft compound tyres. And there we go. I mean, that's the first hot lap on the soft tyres, and it is only just quicker than Kawasuri's fast lap on the mediums. So, am I justified in what I'm saying? Yeah, look, it's quick. We will see 159. There's no two ways about it. But I still think that Newton and Kawasuri have pulled a bit of a masterstroke, I think. We'll see. We will see what we will see over the course of the next 1 hour and 4 minutes, 32 laps or whatever it will be. So, at the moment, in the pit window, Newton leads the way. He's now on lap 29, staying on those medium tyres. Kawasuri, he is in second, 4.4 seconds back. Nuke has also stayed out. He is in third for sector 7. Everybody else has been into the pits. Nuke in now. So it's just Newton and Kawasuri who have decided to take this further into the race. The Truth is your de facto leader, currently 54 seconds behind Newton, but of course he's already been into the pits and won't have to do that again. I'll be monitoring over the next few laps the sort of lap time stuff. There goes. There's our first 1:59, and it's a 1:59.9. Rusty Maggots with a 2:03. Losing time to the Truth already. Is this a done deal then? Has the Truth got the absolute measure of this track? Because all season we've seen these two battling it out, and Rusty Max has put in some phenomenal performances. I was a little bit critical of a couple of his strategies. I think there's been a couple of races where he started on the soft compound tyres and he's got swallowed up towards the end of the race. And one that really stands out is the race at the Nürburgring GP, where he started on the soft compound tyres, everybody else started on the mediums, and he got absolutely swamped in the second half of the race. That, if you guys remember, was the race where people were controversially accused of holding people up. And let's be honest, if I saw it, I would have called it out. I didn't see it, so but yeah, is that the thing that made the difference? Is that the thing that made the difference? That's the big question. So Knudsen coming in now. Kawazuri has stayed out for another lap. Is it a lap too far? That's the question. Because they are, as Andrew said, they are losing a couple of seconds a lap almost to the leaders. But again, it's about what the tyres look like in the final 3 or 4 laps. If these front runners can't, so I'm going to be brutally honest, Andrew. I watched that race and I don't necessarily think that was the case. I see what you're saying and I can see the argument. The thing at Nürburgring, Rusty got swallowed up because he was on the medium tyres and everyone around him was on the softs, so he was never going to hold them off because they were pretty quick. I didn't see what you guys saw, to be fair, and I watched it. All I remember is it was a great finish, that any one of 7 cars were racing for the top 3 at the end of that race. Yeah. To be fair, there's been some races where Rusty has been the only one starting on the softs and absolutely smashed it, and then other times when he hasn't built a big enough gap, and that was one that stood out for me this season actually. Anyway, everybody else has been in. There is Joey Canoni. He is running in 9th place, 23 seconds behind Nico, the Australian driver. He's 4.4 behind Nuke, and he's 13 seconds behind the other Australian, Colin. 5.5 seconds up the road, there's Newton. That's where he comes back out. He was running second, so he has lost quite a lot of time. And I'll tell you what, I'll tell you why he's lost so much time. I'm not going to show you how much fuel he's put on board, but I can tell you this, he is going to have enough left over at the end to run this race again. Far too much fuel in that car, and that time he's lost to Toto Wolff and Rusty Maggots. It's all fuel, I can tell you that. I see what you're saying, and I see how you guys might feel aggrieved, but it was a race where tyre management was key, and yeah, I don't know. So Kawazuri leads the way. He's the only driver yet to pit. He is still in the mid 201s, to be fair. He's still putting in the same sort of lap times, but obviously the guys behind now are starting to get pace into and heat into those soft compound tyres. So 59s are abound. 59s for the Truth. A 59 for Rusty Maggots. Toto Wolff with the fastest, and he's not the real one, the fastest lap of the race with a 59.7. And he is all over Rusty right now. So Rusty's looking at the back of the, well, he's not looking at the back, because I don't think you can see him anymore. Yes, he can. He can just see the back of the Truth, who is his championship rival. But his biggest concern is not the car ahead. It's this car there, Toto Wolff, the independent Japanese driver, who's vying for third in the championship. And I tell you what, he's not going to do his chances of taking that third place any harm at all if he can get himself past Rusty Maggots. And essentially, into de facto second in this race, because Kawazuri at some stage surely has got to go into the pits. He's staying out yet again. Now, here's the thing. So Kawazuri will come into the pits eventually. Although it looked to me that he was just going to go flying off into the oblivion there. Is this too far into the race? Well, you could argue that actually he's losing 2 seconds a lap, probably is. But then, how quick is he on the soft compound tyres? We know he's got pace. There's no two ways about it. No two ways about it at all. So here's the thing. Looking at the pace of those other guys, I think he may have left it a little bit too late. If he was still doing the very, very low 201s, or even in the 2 minutes, I would probably argue stay out. But I think now the gap down to 43 seconds to the truth. If he wants to take third in this championship, he's going to need to be coming back out ahead of Toto Wolff, or at least close to the back of him, close enough to put in some sort of challenge. So as he heads down to 130R, is this the last time he does it on the medium tyres, or does he stay out for a bit longer? The pit window will remain open for another 6 minutes. If they so wish, they can go back in and put some other fuel on in the car, if they so wish. I can't imagine why anyone would want to do that. Around he comes, and into the pits he goes, and boom shanka. Everyone has now been in. So we'll see the truth come around the spoon curve. And he's currently 2.4 seconds clear of Rusty Maggots. Just 28 racing laps separate the truth from the championship. 2.4 seconds separates Rusty Maggots from the truth and from the championship. Toto Wolff, not the real one, currently de facto third, and we'll see them all coming through now. There's the truth, he'll come through into the lead of this race. Rusty Maggots, he'll come through into second. Toto Wolff through into third. Where's Kawazuri? Is Newton going to get through before Kawazuri gets out? Kawazuri's still stationary, still in the pit. Out he comes. Where's Newton? There's Newton. I think Newton's going to have the pace on him, but he's not quite quick enough. So Kawazuri is out in fourth place. And Newton, big loser in that pit window, and that is purely down to a massive overfuel by almost 100 million litres. No, it's a massive overfuel for Newton. So whatever, it could be some mad strategy we don't know about, but yeah, he definitely overfueled there, and it's cost him some places. And we talked about it. I talked about it early on that you want to spend as little time stationary as possible in pits, and of course you do. So you want to make sure you are bang on the money with the fuel. And he just wasn't far too much on board. Colin running in sixth, currently third in the championship. He's got some work to do. He's 20 seconds off the current race leader to Truth. He is 5 seconds behind, or nearly 6 seconds behind Newton, who's 1.6 behind Kawazuri, and 9 seconds behind Toto Wolff, not the real one. I think this is enough. If I could do the maths, I'm going to do the math very, very quickly. So, as it stands, Colin would pick up 10 championship points. Toto Wolff would pick up 14. So it's a 4-point difference between us. Actually, I think Colin might be all right, Colin might be okay. Because Colin is... no, he won't be. Because Colin's on 89, Toto Wolff's on 87. So Toto Wolff would, as it stands, take second in the championship. Kawazuri won't have done enough to take fourth, but he will have closed the gap a little bit on Colin. So as it stands, The top 3 will be your championship top 3. If nothing changes for the next 1 hour, or the next 52 minutes, The Truth will be your champion, and he's currently 3.3 seconds clear. Rusty Maggots will be the runner-up, and he is half a second clear of Toto Wolff, who will be 3rd in the championship. Colin needs to get a place or 2 under his belt, in fact, because 1 place will only be enough. It will only be enough if he gets... I'm trying to work it out, actually. Yeah, so... Yes, it's 10 points. He'll get 11 points if he finishes in 5th. If he does that and gets the fastest lap, that'll be enough to draw level. So he really needs to be in 4th place to maintain 3rd in the championship. So we have had a change in that top 3. We knew the top 2 wasn't going to change. The order might have done, but we knew that it was always going to be The Truth and Rusty. 2 drivers from the same team. It's a good performance, actually, from RWB Racing. To have 2 drivers at the top of the tree. Always very good. Shame we've got no black flag drivers in this far race. Although we do have 3 racing in Division 5 right now. Good luck to Jay and to Grizz and to Hardwiring now. Jay potentially could steal 3rd in the championship. Just got to beat Steve-O, boy. Just got to beat Steve-O. I might check in with his broadcaster. And Grizz Troopers could worm his way into the top 5. Good luck to those guys. Right, so 3.4 seconds. I bet you would. He's not short enough that he's going to run out, but he... I would argue, actually, Andrew, to be fair, that it's less that he's short on fuel and more that The Truth was a little bit more... what's the word I'm looking for? Conservative's not the right word. Careful, I would say. The Truth made sure, fuel-wise. Rusty kind of went, okay, that's what I need, I'll put that in. The Truth made sure, and a little splash extra for him. I think I don't think it should affect him too much. In terms of him and Toto Wolff, not much difference in it. Oh, who doesn't love seeing themselves on TV? Well, I suppose criminals. But Toto Wolff is putting Rusty under some pressure right now. Yeah, I think he's gone a little bit over budget and touch. It's not enough to. It's not kind of Knudsen territory where he's. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to short shift anyway, unless you want to spend 6 months in the pits. But hopefully not too much, because at the moment Toto Wolff looking super quick. Kawazuri with the fastest lap of the race again with a 59.1. But he's got some work to do. He's 8.9 seconds behind this current battle. He needs to beat Toto Wolff on the racetrack to ensure he finishes in the top 4. He cannot, as it stands, make the top 3, Kawazuri. There he is. But at the moment we're watching this battle right here, which is Toto Wolff, not the real one, chasing down Rusty Maggots. He's the real one. He's the real Rusty and the real Maggots. I don't think... I think to say he's in trouble is... No, I don't want to say that he's in trouble on fuel at all. I think he's got the right amount on board. I think he's just got to look after it, really. And in all fairness, it looks to me that just that The Truth and Toto Wolff and Kawazuri just have phenomenal pace. And we're seeing Toto Wolff, not the real one now, having a little look into Spoon. Up the inside he goes. Buddy overcooks it and goes wide. coming through the first part of Spoon Curve, and that allows Rusty Maggots just to breathe a sigh of relief and open up that gap a little bit. Toto Wolff has got to go all over again. Now that is, look, it's a viable overtaking spot, absolutely viable overtaking spot. But for me, your best opportunity is to actually get in behind and make the move with the slipstream down towards 130R. No, you're right, but I think all the drivers are in that position. Other than Knudsen, nobody has put so much fuel on board they don't have to short shift. So, I mean, I think everybody's pretty much in the same boat. Knudsen is the only driver who can literally keep his foot planted to the floor. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And good evening, Roses. How the hell are you? I haven't seen you for a while. Hope you are well. No, the truth has been absolutely phenomenal this season. And to be fair, I've loved this battle between him and Rusty all season. It's been brilliant racing. Great banter between the two of them, and they've given equal amounts of respect and push, shall we say. I mean, I'm looking at the fuel, and I don't think he doesn't have to short shift aggressively at all. He put enough on board. I mean, for me, as I said, I think the truth erred on the side of caution. I think Toto Wolff did the same. Kawazuri is in a very similar position fuel-wise to Rusty. There's not a huge difference between them, to be honest. So here we go. Does Toto Wolff make another move into Spoon? Not this time. Does he go for my suggestion, which is get the better exit and then make the move with the slipstream? Looks like that might be the case. He is just outside that 3/10, but he's really tucked in behind now. Is he going to rev this out? Let's have a little look. Looks to me that he is absolutely revving it out. As I head down to 130R. Not going to be able to go side by side through here. Heading down to the Casio Triangle. In they go. You can see Toto Wolff just tucked lovely behind now. Good slipstream here as well. Down towards turn 1. And potentially a brave move around the outside. Are we going to see a big, ballsy move from Toto Wolff round the outside? Here it goes. Sorry, I was reading a message from my phone, which is a bit weird. Anyway, the truth leads the way. There he is. The truth leads the way. 3.9 seconds clear of Rusty Maggots. And he's now look. I mean, look at Toto Wolff now. He's really tucked in behind him. And I really think this move is going to be on very soon. It's interesting to see actually that Toto Wolff is, and I think over the course of this season actually, and race on race, he's got quicker and quicker. He's not the real one. For the early part of the season, he was very much just outside the kind of in that kind of midfield really. To see him up there battling for the top 3. Really good. Clearly a good race track car combo for him. He's closer this time as they come out of Spoon. Although it looks like Rusty just got I was going to say Rusty got a slightly better exit, but he didn't. Here we go. Toto Wolff, not the real one. Here he goes, tucked in behind. And I haven't seen anyone actually serve a penalty yet. Someone must have done. I know someone picked one up, but I haven't seen one serve one. I saw someone pick one up in the 130R actually. So a lot closer. Good exit here. Again, it just seems that getting on the power, it seems that Rusty Maggots is able to get on the power that little bit sooner and is just keeping him ahead. I mean, I'm watching his gear changes and he's not aggressively short shifting in any way, really. Yeah, not really aggressively short shifting that I can see. We'll have a little look for a while and see how much he's short shifting. I think fuel's not a problem for him. I think he'll be alright. Yeah, I did see him because that's why I mentioned it, because I saw him pick it up in the last that last lap and he served it. But yeah, 3 seconds is the gap. So he's got a little bit of a cushion. And I'm watching here, and Rusty's not short shifting. He's revving that GTR out to its maximum. No short shifting going on there at all. No, not in the slightest. I don't know what you're watching, Andrew, but I'm looking now and I'm watching his gear changes, and he hasn't short shifted anything for the entire time I've watched. He's letting it rev. He's letting that red bar go right to the top. We'll find out. It could be that he's giving me inaccurate information back, but yeah, we'll see. So the truth does lead by 3 seconds. Had a penalty to serve, but it didn't cost him enough. Yeah, I think that's the case. I think Toto's just been really quick today. And I mean, Rusty's not slow. His pace is very comparable to the truth, to be honest. Toto just is on him. And I think the big problem that Rusty Magnus has got in a minute is that because Toto's in that slipstream and he can't drop him out of it, Toto's getting all that extra help behind him, particularly through on the run down to 130R, on the run down to turn 1. You know, there's quite a few straight parts of this racetrack where Toto Wolff is going to get that benefit of the slipstream. The benefit is not enough to help him make the overtake, and Rusty's quick enough out of the corners to keep him at bay. But the big problem, of course, is that if you are battling in this way with, 40 minutes, there's only 40 minutes left to go this season of GTC, guys. How much does that suck? Yeah, so if you're going to spend the last 40 minutes of the race defending, as they are, then it's going to put a little bit of pressure. Yeah, I would say, yeah, you're right. He is one mistake away from losing the championship, of course. However, he's been very consistent lately. But you could argue that any one of these guys are one mistake away from losing out. The thing is, Rusty's going to stay in there and stick in it. It's going to be a 1-2 for the Truth and Rusty, however we dress this up. And the thing is, the Truth's in a really unique position. He doesn't have to give it massive beans. He can just kind of not relax, but just take it a little bit easier. He's 3.4 seconds clear. He doesn't have to kind of chase the fastest lap here. He just has to keep the car on the racetrack and use the grip available to him, not try and explore the edges of the grip. Toto Wolff has made that move on Rusty Maggots. Where did he get this done? So he actually got that done a little bit earlier, so he's ahead now. And Rusty Maggots, now, this is where we'll see whether it is pure pace or whether it's just being in that slipstream has made the difference. Because if Toto Wolff is significantly faster, we will start to see him pull away. And possibly even see a fastest lap on the horizon. So we'll find out now, because the gap to the Truth is now 3.9 seconds. So that battle between Rusty and Toto Wolff really has given these guys, given the Truth a really good cushion. And you can see Rusty Maggots is absolutely there with Toto Wolff. We haven't really looked down the order. We'll have a look down the order in a little bit, because there are other drivers. Other drivers are available, but it's been very spicy, as I would say, between these two, Rusty Maggots and Toto Wolff, not the real one. But I can tell you now that my opinion on... I'm standing by my opinion on the soft compound tyres. Because I can see the wear on them, and I still insist they should have stuck on the mediums for a little bit longer. Let's have a quick run down the orders. We'll have a look there. There's Joey Canoli at the back, 29 seconds behind Nico. Nico running in 8th place, 2.4 behind Nuke. Nuke is 23 seconds behind Colin. 8.9 to Knudsen, who stayed out a little bit longer. He's putting in solid low 2 minutes to 2 minute 1, 2 minute 1, 2 minute 1. He's just done a 59.8. Kawazuri is absolutely ripping it up. He did 59.1 on lap 39. That was the fastest lap of the race. He did another 59.1 the following lap, 59.5, and he has got loads and loads of tyre left. So I am sticking back with what I said early on. I think jumping into the pits quite so early in the pit window wasn't necessarily the smartest idea. And I'm going to give my justification for it, totally give my justification. Yes, definitely, 100%. Those guys, so Kawazuri, Knudsen, those guys that stayed out that little bit longer on the medium tyres were giving up about 1.5 to 2 seconds a lap to those guys that had gone in early and got softs. The problem is, it's what's left on the tyre come the end of the race. And I can see already that we're already seeing a massive differential in available grip and available tyre. And Kawazuri and Knudsen have put themselves in a good position. I think Kawazuri more so because he's got phenomenal pace. And I don't think this battle for the top 3 in the race is over. I think Toto Wolff, he's been absolutely on fire today, and I tell you what, he's actually looked after his tyres a lot better than the 2 FR Bano drivers in Truth and Rusty Maggots. He's been very studious with the use of his tyres. So it's 4.3 seconds to Truth. I can't see Truth getting caught in this race at all. I can, however, see Kawazuri catching Rusty and possibly even Toto Wolff with that pace. And again, a sub 2 minute lap for him. And he's got plenty of grip. He's got plenty of... yeah, he did. He did go a little bit longer, didn't he? He went a couple of laps longer. But it's telling, it's making a massive difference. You can see it's making a massive difference. Toto did, Kawazuri did, Knudsen did. Those drivers that stayed out that little bit longer on those mediums are now reaping the benefits of it, and will be reaping the benefits of it for longer in the race. So, yeah, I'm not right very often, but as they say, a stop clock is right at least twice a day, and I think this is one of those occasions where I think staying out that little bit longer is going to make the massive difference. So we have a little more than half an hour left of the final round here, Season 5, round number 10 of the GTC World Cup. In the GTR, Nissan GTR GT3 car at Suzuka, and it is, yeah, your race engineer is, to be fair, Bono. That's Peter Bonington, isn't it? Lewis Hamilton's race engineer. Yes, so we are 32 minutes, something like 20 something laps. What are we looking at? Not even that really now, is it? Lap 43 we're on now. So about 17 laps left of this race here at Suzuka. 17 laps left of this race. 17 laps left of this round. 17 laps left of this season. And then we get to crown some champions. Yeah, you need Bono. Yeah, you need Bono on the pit wall. You do indeed. The truth, if it stays as it is, The Truth will be your Division 2 champion. Congratulations. We'll worry about that later. We'll have a chat with him after anyway. Toto Wolff will snatch third from Colin's hands. Colin came into this in third, but it's going to be snatched away from him by Toto Wolff, not the real one. Rusty Maggots will be runner-up in the championship. Although his problems at the moment are, can he keep Kawazuri at bay? Because here comes the High Priest Sim Race City driver. He is getting closer and closer to the back of that Rusty Maggots car. And I'll tell you what, you can see here now, Newton, I think, Newton's the exception. I'll tell you why Newton's the exception, because he put far too much fuel in his car. Newton, Toto Wolff, Kawazuri, they all stayed out longer on the medium tyres. They were the last three to come in. Toto Wolff and Kawazuri have benefited greatly from it. Newton overfueled, massively overfueled, and that cost him. That 6.3 seconds he's behind Kawazuri is the extra time he spent in the pits. He was in there for an age. He's got enough. The amount of fuel he's got on board now would have been enough to come out of the pits on. That's how much he overfueled. Just to give you an indication. So everybody else looking good for fuel. No one's going to struggle too much. There might be a little bit of squeaky bum time towards the end for a few, particularly if they're pushing. But I think we're not going to see too many problems. Joey Cannoli brings up the rear. Yeah, he's going to have to, man. That's he's well off with that. 35 seconds behind Nuke. He's closed that gap to Nico actually to 1 second. Some good pace from the last few laps. He's in the low to high. He's done a 150. He's been in the 159s. He's dabbled his foot into those 159s, as has Nico, but he's sort of firmly in the mid 2 minuters. Can Nico stay ahead? He has just done. Excuse me, God, I don't know where that came from. He has just done his fastest lap of the race, Nico. But is it too little, too late? As we can see, Nuke closing the gap. Good battle going on here. Back marker battles. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Talking about marker battles, I had a really good back marker battle, but up in 5th and 6th on Monday, just gone. Which, ironically, this is how busy my week's been, right? Now, anyone that knows me knows that I have GT7 switched on for the most part every day. Genuinely, I haven't been logging it. I was logging it briefly on Thursday, I think. It was Tuesday. Tuesday or Wednesday. Right, so yeah, so I raced on Monday, and then I think Tuesday or Wednesday I had it on briefly. And then it hasn't literally, my PlayStation hasn't even been switched on since. I've just been that busy. Yeah, it's a good place to be. It's all work, it's all gravy in it. But yeah, it's good to be back steering school. Good to be back steering school, absolutely. But yeah, so Nuke is he's within half a second of Nico, but it doesn't look like he's getting that that final kind of push to make the move on him at this stage. Nico just finding that little bit of edge of pace, and he had quite a slow lap last lap, which didn't help. But so did Nuke. I mean, Nuke didn't have the greatest lap last lap either. So he's got a good run on him here, but again, not going to be able to make the move into 130R because it's just you just can't do it. You can't go side by side through here. We saw, well, I saw in GT Fusion round 1 here. Some problems that people go side by side through 130R, but it's not feasible. So the gap stays the same. Colin currently third in the championship, but not for much longer if it stays as it is. He's 26 seconds clear of Nico. No danger from him at this stage. 10 seconds behind Knudsen, the fuel gatherer. That's his new name. He loves the fuel. tell he's not paying for it, because I wouldn't have put that much in if I was paying for it. Kawazuri, the fastest man on track. His pace has slowed a little. He was firmly, I mean, he didn't really get out of the mid-59s for a few laps. He's just dropped off a little bit into the 2-minuters. Is that because he's behind Rusty, or is that because he just wants to hold off and make sure he's got something left to push as we go into the last half hour? So lap 46 of what will be about 60 laps, give or take. Kawazuri running in fourth. He's 0.8 of a second behind Rusty Maggots, who's second in the championship currently. He's 3.1 seconds now behind Toto Wolff, not the real one, who is at 3.5 seconds behind your current championship leader, your current race leader, and if it stays as it is, your champion. Now, Colin's in the pits. He's got a little bit of damage, which he's going in to repair. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't look like significant damage there on the rears. But he clearly feels that it's costing him time. And to be fair, it was a free pit stop. He was far enough ahead for it to be a viable option. So, yeah. Worth, from his perspective, worth doing. I love the fact that you talk about the team pool. Like, it would be awesome if they both had a pool and they both jumped in it simultaneously on camera. Yeah, so the truth leads the way, and hopefully nothing happens between now and the end of the race. Now there is, I've talked about this before, there's going to be those that say, oh, I'll stay off towards the end because of commentator's curse. Commentator's curse is not a thing, right? I'll tell you why, because I've watched all of these other cars and no one's crashed when I've been watching them. It's purely commentator's foresight. So if I jump to a car and it crashes, it's not because I've jinxed them, it's because I knew they were going to do it. Yeah, he did get a bit squirrely. I mean, to be fair, the damage probably didn't need repairing. And that is Kawazuri making moves on Rusty Maggots, or trying to. Great defending there from Rusty. He's holding Kawazuri off, but Kawazuri is not giving this up anytime soon. Let's get back on with Kawazuri and watch this fight. He is absolutely getting on him. Yeah, playing with fire. The curse is not real, man. The curse is not real. It's not a real thing. If that was the case, then every time you talked about a driver, they'd crash. That's like walking. It's like walking under a ladder, and every time you walk under a ladder, it falls on you. If you walk under 100 ladders and one falls on you, it's not because you walked under a ladder. It just happened to be that particular time. So here we go, Kawazuri. Significant pressure on the back of Rusty Maggots. Can Rusty hold him off? If he's going to hold him off, he's got to do so for 23 minutes. Essentially, it's going to be about 12 laps of absolute abject pressure on the back of Rusty Maggots. And I tell you what, I wouldn't want to have to try and sustain keeping Kawazuri behind me. To be fair, I wouldn't have Kawazuri behind me because I'm not that quick. But I wouldn't want to have to try and find a way to stop him, because Kawazuri, he's going to have much better tyres right to the end of this race, and he's looking pretty darn quick, and he has done all day, in fairness. In fact, to be fair, the front six have all looked pretty darn quick all day. There's been some really, really hot laps coming from these guys, one after the other. So here we go, about to finish lap 48. The Truth leads by 2.8 seconds from Toto Wolff, not the real one. 4.6 seconds back to Rusty Maggots, who now has in his rearview mirror the massive massive front of the high pre-driver Kawasuri, and that's all he can see in his mirrors. And I'll tell you what, it's so hard that, you know, it's one thing to kind of race your lines and kind of run your race, but when you're also concentrating on the car behind, it just takes that focus off a little bit, and it's almost like you need to try and forget there's a car right behind you. Obviously, you have to do the defensive stuff. You have to make those defensive manoeuvres and make sure that you're cutting off the apex. You're not leaving gaps for that car behind to go into. But by the same token, you don't want to take your focus away from just getting the car round the racetrack and that muscle memory you've built up over the week of practice and over the sort of hour and a half of racing you've just done. And you want to just kind of focus on that, but it's so hard when you've got someone in your mirror, and it's all in your mirror, and they're all over the back, and you can see that Kawasuri's got the pace because as he caught up to the back of Rusty, you can see how his pace has dropped off because he can't find a way through, and it's so difficult because the cars are essentially identical, and Suzuka's a difficult racetrack to overtake on because although you get some really good slipstream areas, they're not long enough to get any benefit unless you are really, really close to the car in front. And of course, when you're really close to the car in front, then you've got the dirty air to contend with, so you don't want to be sitting in there for too long either. But you're going to obviously want to push and want to get tucked in behind there and want to make that work. So we'll see. We will see. But I think that battle is going to rage right through to the end of this race. Let's give the race leader some love. 2.4 seconds is his current lead. He's doing solid mid 2 minutes at the moment. Did drop off the pace a little bit. Excuse me, 46, 47. Dropped into the 201s, but he's currently 2 minutes mid out in the lead, 2.3 seconds. Behind him, low to mid 2 minutes from Toto Wolff, not the real one. He is 4.7 ahead of Rusty and Kawasuri. Here you can see them coming through now. I love this shot. It's one of my favourite shots in the game, to be fair. That, and there's a similar one that does a similar thing right there, but from a higher angle at Daytona into turn 44. Just dropped off just outside 1 second of Rusty Manx, running in third, Kawasuri in fourth place. There is Knudsen, the fuel gatherer, 6.9 seconds behind Kawasuri. In the solidly in the low 201s at the moment. Colin with a 37. No. Yes and no. Some of the tyres are much better. They're a little bit better than Rusty's, just a little bit better. There's not much in it, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, looking at the tyres all round, I mean, Toto Wolff's in a really, really good place with his tyres. Really, really good place. Rusty, yeah, it's going to be squeaky bum time, I think, for those that went in first. I think are going to be a little bit worried because there's still sort of 9 laps remaining there or thereabouts, and I think by the time we've got 4 laps remaining, it's going to be worrying. I think for those, I'm sticking with what I said back then. I know you disagree with me at the time, Andrew, but I'm sticking with what I said back then, that I think they went in too early. I think they should have stayed out a little bit longer on the medium compound tyre. So Kawazuri is now ahead of Rusty. He's made that move. He's got the move done. Can we see where he made it? No, he's already made it. There we go. So he did finally get that move done. And the thing is now, can Rusty stick with him? We saw Toto Wolff get past Rusty and he couldn't hold on with him. Could he be, is he able to hold on now? In terms of tyres and fuel now, there's not much that separates them, because obviously Kawazuri has been absolutely smashing it to catch up. So, I mean, pace-wise, they're very similar. Very, very similar at the moment. I mean, Kawazuri in the 2 minutes, I mean, yeah, the last lap, there was nothing really to separate them. And the last few laps from 3 tenths, a couple of tenths, separates them completely. I think that's what he's got to hope for now, is that there is an error in there somewhere. I'm just having a look now at the lap times from this last lap. Kawazuri with a 2:01.2, a 2:02.8 from Rusty. So there was Rusty's mistake right there. Made a little error to let Kawazuri through into third. So now it's all about sticking with him. He's just got to hang on in there, stick within that 1 second window, and hope for a little wobble somewhere. I think the truth is going to be looking in his mirror soon as well, because Toto Wolff, not the real one, has cut that gap down to 1.5 seconds. His last few laps have all been low to mid 2 minutes for nothing more than 3.5 tenths to separate those last 4 or 5 laps. The truth in the high 2 minutes. So, the truth just needs to up that pace a little bit. Now, we said, look, he could take it easy earlier. When it was 3.4 seconds, you do that. The thing is now, I mean, everyone's pretty much going to be in the same boat come the last lap. But Toto Wolff, Kawazuri and Knudsen, actually Knudsen has, and to be fair, it's because he put too much fuel on. Obviously, the heavier your car is, the harder it pushes the tyres into the tarmac and the more you wear them. So he's actually really burnt out his tyres, but that is because he had so much fuel on board. He's got so much fuel on board that you can take what the Truth currently has, Toto Wolff currently has, and Kawazuri currently has, and that would give you an indication of how much Knudsen still has in the tank. That's how much you put on board. So Rusty is sticking within that 1 second window, which is where he'll absolutely want to be. Now, the thing is, I think he has to resign himself at this stage, that unless something catastrophic happens out front for the Truth, that he's not going to win this championship. But second is his. It's in the bag. Absolutely in the bag. So focus has got to be on getting the race finished, getting it done, bringing the car home, rather than worrying about anything else. It can't be caught by the guys in third. It is purely a race to second place. 10 seconds off the leader. Look, could he win a championship? Of course he still could. Anything can happen to the Truth, and the Truth can get disconnected, he can crash. Any number of things can happen in the next 7 laps, and hand the championship to Rusty Maggots. However, I think you have to play the sensible game. The sensible game is, look, I'm going to finish second in the championship. Just bring the car home. The Truth Sim's got his own problems, and one of them is Toto Wolff shaped. And there it is, right there, and we can see now the gap down to 1.2 seconds, and he's going to start to get closer and closer. And looking at tyre wear, Toto Wolff's just got that little bit more. Where he went in that little bit later, he's got that little bit more on his tyre to play with, and I think we're going to see the Truth having to go full on a defensive mode. He's going to have to put up those fences and try and hold the on-rushing Toto Wolff away. We don't do driver of the day, but for me, you can't. It's going to be difficult to look past Kawazuri and Toto Wolff. Don't get me wrong. I think the Truth, he's led from beginning to end here, However, the strategy and the pace of Toto Wolff and Kawazuri has just been phenomenal. So back out to 1.4 seconds, just to give the truth that little bit of a breather. Let's have a rundown from the back of the pack. Joey Cannoli hanging on in there with a 49.2 second gap to Sector 7's Nuke. And he is right up there with Nico. Is he going to make this move? They've been battling it out a little bit between themselves for a while. And up ahead there's Colin. He's not too far ahead of them, so potentially some moves on there. As Nuke coming in to turn 1, just 4 tenths behind Nico. Even Nico's something to think about for the last few laps. I mean, his tyres looking very good. Very, very good. Nico's not looking too bad, but Nuke really looked after him. There's Colin. He's 37 seconds back from Newton. Not a lot he can really do at this stage. He's going to lose his third in the championship today, just by virtue of an absolute phenomenal performance from Toto Wolff and Kawazuri. There is Newton, who, I tell you what, he is going to be in big trouble with his tyres. Overfueling didn't help him in the slightest, and he did the right thing by staying out longer on the medium tyres to put on the softs, but he's ruined the soft tyres with all that extra unnecessary weight of fuel. Rusty still sticking with Kawazuri, so Kawazuri did the job, got past him, but now Rusty's kind of there, so it's not a top 3 finish here isn't off the cards for Rusty yet. Kawazuri's not closing the gap to the front 2, particularly to Toto Wolff. That's all he needs to beat. He needs to beat him by a couple of places actually to stay third. But when you're 5 seconds back, that's not going to happen. Let's go back to see the nice future. So that's the gap down to 8 tenths of a second. The Truth now really got a lot of Toto Wolff in his mirrors. You can see there just how close he is as they come into this hairpin. And round they go now. Can Toto Wolff, how close can you realistically get to the back of the Truth and hang on in there without it having too much of an effect? And the other question, of course, is how much more tyre has he got? Well, I mean, I can see that he has got a little bit more. But the question is whether it's enough to get him past the Truth. That's the big question. So, we're watching, at the moment, Toto Wolff try and chase down the lead from the Truth. Now, the Truth was on pole, and he has led this race from the very, very beginning. There was a brief moment through the pit window where he wasn't leading, but he was always de facto leader through that period. But could we now see a change in the race leadership here? It won't affect the championship, because the Truth is ahead of Rusty Magnus, of course. That's the only driver he needed to beat today was Rusty. But it will make a massive difference for third in the championship. Now, Kawazuri's not going to catch them at this stage, but if Toto Wolff catches the Truth, he'll make third anyway if he finishes where he is, but he'll consolidate that quite significantly. Now, Kawazuri with the fastest lap can only take third if he beats Toto Wolff by 2 positions and gets the fastest lap. And to me, that doesn't look like that is at all possible. At the moment, the one thing that does look possible is the truth holding Toto Wolff up. How long can he do it for, though? I mean, how long when you're in the lead and your tyres are going and your fuel is going? How long can you sustain this kind of pressure before you crack? We saw that Rusty made a couple of little errors that allowed Kawasuri to get up into that top 3. We can see now the truth. He is 6/10 ahead as they head down to Cassia Triangle for the 56th time today. On the power they go. Toto Wolff looking for anything out front, looking for any way of finding that extra position. And doing a great job. Okay, we have 7 minutes left in this race, about 3 and a bit laps left. I think we're going to make it to lap 61 for these front runners. If you are just joining us, where the bloody hell have you been? This is the GTC World Cup Season 5 final round here at Suzuka in the phenomenal GT3 car, the Nissan GT-R. The Truth Serum has led from lap 1. He is the championship leader, and if he finishes this race ahead of Rusty Maggots, he will be crowned champion in just 6 minutes time. Is he gonna become champion as race winner, or is Toto Wolff, who has snatched 3rd in the championship, or will, if it stays as it is, snatch 3rd in the championship with a phenomenal drive today, and potentially going to pick up a win in the final round as well to boot with the way he's going. He's cut that gap down to under 0.3 of a second, and they're going to head round Spoon now. We could very well see, with a good exit here, 0.3 is what you need if you get the good run, and straight away the Truth trying to drop him out of that slipstream. And that little move to the left hand side from the Truth there was just enough to stop Toto Wolff picking up that slipstream straight out of Spoon Curve and making it just that little bit harder for him to close up the gap. The Truth pulling out all the little tricks. He has got a big box of tricks and he's pulling them all out. Look at that. Weaving across the track. He doesn't want to give Toto Wolff anything. Heading down towards turn 1 and kind of the double little fakie, shining the inside, shining the outside. The Truth doing everything he can. He'll be chucking the baffles out behind the car soon, and some flares and all sorts of things. It's like two jet fighters battling out in the air. And that was a mistake from the Truth Serum, and Toto Wolff takes the lead of the race here on lap 58. And we can see here the Truth just getting a little bit squirrely through there. And you can see here, just makes that little mistake, and Toto Wolff capitalizes, pounces like a cheetah on his prey and takes the lead of this race. The Truth will still be champion as long as Rusty Maggots doesn't find some kind of way through. And to be brutally honest, if that is the only mistake the Truth is going to make today, then it is done, my friend. It is done. So, for the first time today, we can say with some confidence that the race leader is not the Truth Serum, and Toto Wolff could handle the Truth. He is 1 second clear of the Truth. The Canadian driver is 9.5 ahead of Kawasuri, the Brit High Prix driver. 1.3 ahead of FR Mono's Rusty Maggots, who will finish second in the championship as it stands today. Newton from NOLA Racing, he is 7.7 seconds back in 5th. Colin from R2R or something called it. Robo Sport Racing, RSR. 37 seconds back from Newton. NWR's Nico, RSR's Nico is 4.3 seconds behind Colin. Nuke from Sector 7, he's 13.5 seconds back from Nico, the American driver. And last but by no means least, it's the one, the only, the indubitable Joey Cannoli. So there we go, there's your race leader. We are on lap 59 of 60, and this will be the penultimate lap of the race as we go into the very, very final knockings. Sorry about that. Caught a button in my excitement. The very, very last knockings of the race. Toto Wolff leads from the True Serum. The True Serum will be crowned champion if it stays as it is and there is no changes. 1.2 seconds now, the gap. The thing is, the Truth knows that he's won the championship if he stays there. There's no benefit now to trying to fight that. He's got a big enough gap over Kawazuri. While it would have been wonderful to round out a championship win with an actual race win, there's no point in risking the championship at this stage by doing anything silly. So just coast, bring that car home. That's all you've got to do now. Toto Wolff will take the win. He will also take third in the championship. So we round into the final chicane for what will be the penultimate time. Here we go. Final lap of the race will begin. There is your race leader, Toto Wolff. I'll tell you what, it's great to see. Look how close this is, 1.1 seconds. How many times do we see a race and by the time we're at this stage, the front two are 35 seconds apart? That's not entertaining. This is though. And this Division 2 for me, and you know, for anyone from Division 1 or Division 3 watching that, I do apologise to you right now. But I tell you what, Division 2 for me has been the best division this year in terms of how close the racing's been, the sportsmanship, everything. Newton comes home in 5th, he's finished. Colin will come home, bring it home in 6th place. We're not going to miss Toto Wolff crossing the line, he's still back there in sector, just started sector 2. So Colin will come home into the Casio Triangle, he comes for the final time, lap 59 for the RSR RWB Sport Racing driver. Rounds that final right-hander, and Colin comes home in 6th place. Nico coming home just behind him, his teammate in 7th. Nuke will be 8th. Where's Toto Wolff? Don't want to miss him. He's just coming round towards Spoon now. Nuke will come through. He will finish in 8th place. Joey Cannoli will eventually come home in 9th. But all the applause, all the plaudits go to this guy right here, Toto Wolff, not the real one. He has, he bade his time. He stayed out long, as did Kawazuri, as did Knudsen, on those medium compound tyres, and it proved to be the pinnacle strategy. I called it early on, I was corrected, and I was proven to be right. I do know some things. That's what I do. I drink and I know things. As said by 3 minutes now. There we go. Toto Wolff takes the win from the Truth Serum. The Truth Serum is your champion of Division 2. Kawazuri comes home in 3rd, but Rusty Maggots, little final revival for Rusty to try and nick that position right at the death. There we have it. We are done. Your winner today, Toto Wolff, but the man of the hour, let's bring up the results there, is the True Serum, who is your champion of champions for Division 2. It'll be Rusty Maggots in 2nd, and Toto Wolff will take 3rd in the championship. I'm going to go and find some drivers to shout at. How about that? Back very soon. Hello. At the moment, just me. Yes, how you doing, man? You are. You're the champion, my friend. You're the champion. How does it feel? Do you know what? The strategy was really, really smart from both him, Kawazuri, and well, not so much Newton. We'll go into that in a little while, because they stayed out a lot longer than everybody else on those medium tyres. And at the time, I had a debate with Ando, because Ando felt that going in early was the right call, and I insisted that staying out longer on the mediums was actually the best way to do it, because then you've got the soft tyres with you for longer, and it proved to be the way forward, because Toto and Kawazuri both had a very, very strong second stint. Oh no, absolutely. I mean, he was really, really quick, and consistent as well. Which I mean, to be fair, I mean you were very consistent as well. But I think he was just towards where you sort of dropped off at the end a little bit. He was able to maintain that for a little bit longer to close that gap, and in the end, I think it's one of those. No, he was out longer. So it was Toto Kawazuri, um, and Knudsen stayed out the longest. Knudsen screwed himself because he put about 500 litres of fuel on. Yeah. Well, put it this way: about 5 laps from the end, you could have taken the entire fuel in the top five, and it would have been about what he still had left. Yeah, I don't know whether it was a case of he just forgot to press the button, or I suppose sometimes you have that brain fart, don't you? And you're like, oh, yeah, or he just got the math wrong. But that ended up screwing his tyres as well because he had so much more fuel on board. The benefit he had of better tyres just didn't work out for him. But what a race that was! No, absolutely, absolutely. That's really weird because it's showing up on my monitor here as being loud and clear. Give me a second. Let me see what's going on. Hang on.
Test, mic check. Can anybody hear that?
I think so. Still coming through. We'll carry on chatting. We'll work it out, see what happens. Rusty.
Yeah, I guess my opinion in here.
Just I was having a bit of a debate with Ando because he insisted that you underfueled and were short shifting, but I didn't see much evidence of that. Kawazuri and Toto were just super quick today, right?
I was driving in a way the entire race where I was using a little bit less fuel. I think what was it? I made up about 13 seconds on truth in the pit, over, undercut everybody else other than truth. I didn't underfuel. I was just, trying to save more gas throughout the race than everyone else. I could run pretty much the same pace as him while doing that. I was a little slow, made some mistakes. I feel like I know Truth and Toto are really good here. And for me, it was like I had the pace to win if I didn't make any mistakes. And I made a few mistakes, so didn't get it. But I thought the fuel was fine.
I think the difficult thing today, I mean, with sort of Truth starting on pole and you starting in fifth, because everybody, pretty much the top 7, were running, for sort of 3-4 tenths difference, the same laps. It makes it incredibly difficult to kind of get up there and do that battle, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, especially like going through all those S's and after turn 1, it's just you're just kind of barricaded behind people. I ended up making a mistake early on that cost me a spot. I think Kawasuri got by me. Yeah. Eventually, I got by Nuke. Nuke actually let me by. And then I had a gap to Kawasuri from there. But I think what would that put me in? I was like in 5th behind Truth, Knudsen, Kawasuri, and Toto. And all those guys were just running a slightly faster pace than me, where I could kind of catch them. But if I made like the smallest mistake, I'd lose time, and it would take a bunch of laps to make it back up.
Yeah, so it's such a difficult place to overtake Suzuka anyway. There's only really you've got the final corner where if you get a good run, you can get an overtake there. If you're close enough in the slipstream, maybe before turn 1 and before you get to 130R. But there isn't really that many opportunities. I think the only real overtakes we saw were going into Spoon before you get into the sort of first part of Spoon. But even then, it's so hard at Suzuka because especially when the lap times are so comparable.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I think here the play, which is what Toto did, which was smart, is you just have to apply pressure, and the track itself is relentless with all the high speed corners. So you apply pressure and try to force the guy to go a little wide somewhere,
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what that's one thing that I think Toto and Kawasuri did quite well is they sort of closed that gap and then kind of relied on you guys just making a little error here or there and maybe be able to get past that way. But it must be so hard. I mean, I suppose from your perspective, Truth, I mean, you're 4 or 5 laps to go. You've got this guy chasing you down, and I mean, the first thought in your mind is, I want to win this race, obviously. But then you're thinking, I'm ahead of Rusty. I'm going to win the championship, whatever happens, right?
Yeah. Like I was like, I really, I'm competitive, so I really wanted to win the race, and I tried to win the race. But as soon as I made mistakes because my tires were dead and I broke loose, I just was very careful about not trying too hard to stay with Toto and then having a huge mistake, right? Like,
yeah, focus on bringing it home.
Yeah, just get the car back on the track and keep going. So, but anyways, it was a good season. Good season for Rusty. Good season for me. Rusty finished.
I think Division 2, and I've seen all 3 top divisions. For me, I think Division 2 has been the best division in terms of competition, but also in terms of anybody who could win it. I think with Division 1, Division 3, it's been pretty obvious early on where the title was going to go. But I think with Division 3, I think it's been less clear cut until the last few races, really.
Yeah. Well, Rusty was up there, and I was struggling at the start, and then I caught up. I got a little gap, but then he got a win and started putting in results, and then it reeled me back in. And then next thing you know, we went into today 2 points apart. So to beat me, like if he finished first and I finished second, that wouldn't have been good enough because of the tiebreaker. I have more wins, so he would have needed the fast lap. But I couldn't afford to finish like third and him first. He would have won,
Yeah.
right? So it was, and then we had decent turnout, so there was a very real possibility of losing.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
the other thing, I think the turning point this season, I think Red Bull Ring was a turning point for you, wasn't it, Truth? Because you were up until that point, you'd not scored too many points, and you'd been kind of flitting around about. But then you had a really good race at Red Bull Ring, if I remember rightly, and that kind of
Yeah,
seemed
at
to
some
be the
point,
turning point.
yeah, at some point it turned around a little bit. Like I was driving and I had really good pace. Like I was driving really well the first few races, but it just wasn't going my way. I was getting damage and like different things. But then yeah, it kind of finally like I got a little bit of luck and started. And then most of the season I would start at the back of the pack, and fighting through the pack is not easy.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
But I think that's
So,
testament to how good Division Two's been, though, right? Because everyone's been so close in terms of pace that it's
yeah.
really been, and a lot of the Division Two has really been reliant on someone making a mistake to gain a place rather than the overtakes because everyone's so close in pace. And I think that's brilliant. I love racing like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
like you said, I mean, there was like races where you would get really surprising results in this division just from like everybody being so close. Like I remember, I think it was Red Bull Ring, which for me was like the biggest choke job of my sim racing career. But um, I think that the podium at Red Bull Ring at the time, not a single guy on the podium was in the top 10 in points.
Mm.
And as soon as that happened, it was kind of like any race, nobody knows who's going to win. It could be literally anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I thought there was going to be more people involved because I think Monkey Man Macho from Black Flag, he hit the ground running. I mean, he was one of the front runners early on, but he had a catastrophic equipment failure in round 4, and he hasn't been able to race pretty much since then. So it kind of, I suppose, him dropping off, and then Checky started really well as well, didn't he? And he ended up dropping off the pace. So I think at the end of the day, I think the most consistent drivers were the ones that were there or thereabouts, and it
Yeah,
was you guys.
you usually get attrition during the season. Some people have, legitimate problems, have to drop out. Some other people, when it doesn't go their way, they stop showing up because they quit. Because
That,
in the way I see
been
that,
quite a
it's
lot of
like
that this season,
it's
hasn't
like mixed martial arts. You tapped out. That means just because you stopped showing up doesn't mean that I didn't make you stop showing up. So the way I see it, that's a victory.
it? Yeah, absolutely. But listen, guys,
Yeah.
it's been absolutely brilliant. I've loved every minute of this season. And you two have been very entertaining. But it's all about you, Truth. You are the Division 2 champion for Season 5. And the applause is all yours, my friend. All yours.
Thank you. Oh, we just got somebody in the room. Who's that?
Is that Nico?
It is. Hello.
Nico, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right.
That's
Wasn't your finest hour today, mate?
no. I'm not sure what happened there at the start, but I saw Magic Cook go a bit wide towards the chicane. I thought, oh, that opened the door to go around the outside, and then I just tripped over that chicane a little bit and ran wide, and yeah, it just unglued from there. And unfortunately, that's what killed the race a bit.
Pace was really hot today, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a really hard one. And, it didn't help that I underfueled a bit in the stops. So it wasn't until a couple laps later, I'm short on fuel. So I couldn't push to the end, unfortunately. But, well, it is what it is. So we'll take this season as a learning curve and come back stronger for the next one.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me. And I can't wait till next season, to be fair. I cannot wait. Nothing more really to say other than thank you to everyone at GTC, obviously, for getting this off the ground. and keeping it going. Thanks to all the drivers who've been involved on a day-to-day basis and doing all the racing and bringing all the entertainment. Yeah, that's it. What else can I say?
Urban for taking the time to do the commentating.
No worries, mate. Listen, this is an absolute pleasure. What else would I be doing on a Saturday night other than sleeping?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, see you later.
I also,
Bye.
just want-
Thanks
I
very
also
much,
just want to
guys.
say congratulations on taking the championship win, Truth.
Thank you.
Awesome job.
Appreciate that. All righty.
That's true.
See you later, lads. So there we have it. It's all done and dusted. There was your champion, the Truth Serum. Absolutely deserved it. And, you know, as you heard them say, it was such a close fought championship all the way through. But we do have our Division 2 champion. It is the Truth Serum. Nothing left to say, really, than what an awesome, awesome season. I've been Urban Pirate. This has been the GT Champions World Cup. And we're done. Season 5 is finished. Season 6 will be announced at some point. And we'll let you know. But thank you, everyone that's joined me throughout this time. Catch you later. It's been emotional.